Alright, it's X2 see me coming back at you with a nice little reaction. You got that T Grizzly before they was famous. You know what I'm saying? It's a D-Tron nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here in Kalamazoo 269, so you know what I'm saying? It's all love and shit out that way. So let's get it.
Listen to my songs, right? I'm lyrical, but I am who I say I am. You know what I'm saying? I done been through shit.
Before T Grizzly released his debut mixtape, My Moment, racked up millions of plays on SoundCloud, and at the time of this recording got over 42 million views on his video for First Day Out, which I love.
You ever been inside a federal courtroom? Nigga, you ever went to trial and fought for your life? Being broke did something to my spirit. Ass niggas to plug me, they act like they couldn't hear me.
Before following up his debut single with tracks like Second Day Out, No Effort, and From the D to the A featuring Lil Yachty.
810s, what's that 8 bands? Hit the store and get some rubber bands, let's get straight to it.
Before signing with 300 Entertainment and Atlantic Records, and going on tour with the likes of 21 Savage and Young M.A.
I was watching my people from prison. Now we on tour together.
Crazy, man. Crazy. We about to turn this shit up.
T Grizzly grew up in rough and tough Detroit, raised mainly by his extended family as his parents were in and out of jail throughout his childhood. Inspired by his uncles and local established rappers, T started to rap himself in elementary school and joined a rap collective when he was just 14. Despite being the first member of his family to go to college, while there, he started committing robberies to make some extra cash. This landed him in prison, where he wrote the bulk of his mixtape. But that doesn't mean he wants everyone to follow in his footsteps. He gave this advice to his teenage fans.
If you got a chance to go to college, bro, please go. You know what I'm saying? But college ain't for everybody, so if you ain't on that, then go take up a trade or something, bro.
What's going on, guys? My name is Michael Grizz, documenting the life and career of T Grizzly prior to fame, here for you on Before They Are Famous. Now, you guys requested this video. In fact, a whole bunch of you. I appreciate your suggestions. Keep them coming. In the past, I've covered some of his collaborators, including 21 Savage and Young M.A., also Lil Yachty. Let me know who's next in the comments down below. Alright, let's get into this video. Oh yeah, I've also covered XXXTentacion, Smoke Perp, and Nav, but you know that already. Okay.
Fucked up my man's name so bad. And Tentacion?
Now let's go.
My pops got killed a couple years ago. I was old enough to feel that. My mama got sentenced to life in the feds. You know what I'm saying? I was old enough to feel that.
T Grizzly was born Terry Sanchez Wallace on March 23rd, 1994. He was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and grew up in the Joy Road neighborhood on the west side in what he describes as an abusive household. There were drugs coming in and out of the house, and his parents were in and out of jail throughout his childhood. As a result, his grandmother was often left to raise him, along with his uncles and his aunties. They often played hip-hop and R&B in the house, and his uncles would record rap songs in the studio, sparking his love for music. T started rapping himself when he was just 11 or 12 years old, but he didn't have much to say and didn't see it going anywhere for him. It wouldn't be until he had time to reflect behind bars that he would see rap as a way of telling his story and making it big.
Sent this and I took it on the chin, nigga. For my brothers, I do that shit again, nigga. I put that money on they bush cause I'm a real nigga. Will never try to fuck they bitch cause I'm a real nigga.
Despite that later in life he would come up in prison, T stayed on the straight and narrow throughout his childhood. He said, "My man's in the street, but for some reason I was just always on the right track. It wasn't because of me and it wasn't because of nobody around me. God just kept me on the right path. I never smoked, drank, none of that. Always got good grades, but I'm in the hood with the worst of the worst people every day." While his studies were his main focus at the time, T's interest in rap grew throughout the years. He listened to established Detroit rappers like Blade, Icewood,
Throwback.
and by 14, he'd be hitting the studio regularly. While in middle school, he and a couple of his friends, Lee, JR, and Poe, formed a rap group called All Stars Ball Hard. He took the stage name ASBHT, and they would post their tracks on YouTube.
All I know is getting harder from that power form. All these fiends, all this traffic got me kinda annoyed. Fuck beat that same night we had them choppers blowing. He ran off, bumped into that nigga mama for it.
In 2011, T's mom was sentenced to 15 years for drug trafficking, and a year later, his father was murdered in the streets. Living through these tragedies kept him committed to making something of himself, and T became the first member of his family to go to college. When he was admitted to Michigan State University, there he studied accounting and finance, but ran into some financial problems of his own during his freshman year. By February of 2014, T was flat broke and decided to start stealing to get by.
I didn't even know who I was at the time. I was into everything. I ain't had no do's and don'ts, no principles for real. I was really still growing up.
Beginning on on February 12th, he and his buddy Jeremy Christian Ford would sneak into unlocked dorm rooms in Hubbard Hall late at night, taking cash, laptops, and other electronics. The crime spree would come to an end on February 27th when the two were apprehended by the police. The cops uncovered $10,000 worth of stolen merchandise and nearly $10,000 in cash. But the police released them, opting to gather more evidence before making an arrest. A few months later, T and two friends, Theo Evans and Dwan Harris, made their way to Lexington, Kentucky to rob a jewelry store called the Castle Jewelry and Pawn. Their plan was a quick smash and grab.
I think that's what he was talking about in that first day out then.
A smash and grab is when you run in the jewelry store with a sledgehammer, smash whatever particular piece of jewelry that you want, and run out of there.
But just after the guy smashed open a case full of watches with a sledgehammer, a customer pulled a gun on them, forcing all three to the ground to wait for the police.
It wasn't even the owner, it was a customer.
What?
Dude that pulled the gun out didn't even
What a
work
good
there.
Samaritan.
Right, he ain't even got nothing on the line.
He just said, oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
T was charged with theft and sentenced to 9 months. He was then extradited to Michigan, where he faced 2 counts of second-degree home invasion. He was originally offered a 30-year sentence for his crime, but prosecutors eventually knocked it down to 5. Still, 5. And he's a young boy. He was in college, for God's sakes. That must have been rough.
Nigga, you ever went to trial and fought for your life?
It was in prison that T got the name T Grizzly, called that because of his grown-out beard, untamed dreads, and wild behavior. He was incarcerated at St. Louis Correctional Facility, Macomb Correctional Facility, and Jackson State Prison. I felt like I was never gonna get out, T recalled. Kentucky jails got a way of making you feel like them doors ain't gonna never be open. I remember thinking I ain't never gonna make it up out of here. No matter how much time they tell you, the conditions are so terrible down that you feel like you ain't never gonna come home. Despite feeling like he may never get out, he started making plans for his return to the outside. He started reading a lot of books and wrote the lyrics for his debut mixtape, My Moment. When he was finally released on October 18, 2016, T went to the studio and started to record the song First Day Out. He shot a video outside the closest jail, Ryan Correctional Facility, wearing the same clothes he had worn in jail. He then reached out to Joseph McFashion, owner of a popular Detroit-based YouTube channel and website called Faux Show Magazine, asking him to host the video. Joseph paid him $250 for the video, which was released on November 7, 2016. And I really hope that guy didn't get all the royalties from that video, because that was a whole lot of views.
Yes, I slap a pussy nigga if he act out. Yes, I caught cases on the road with them killers, bro. Kill me if I snitch, cause if you snitch, I'm gonna kill you.
The video racked up several million views in its first 3 weeks, and at the time of this recording, has gone on to be viewed more than 42 million times. Okay, now that's a whole lot of money. That's like 100 G's, for real. Anyways, guys, that's the story to now. If you want to know the rest of the story, well, we'll have to wait and see, because this is before they're famous. My name's
Alright, man, you know what I'm saying? My mans didn't talk too much about T, his bad side, so I like that, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad a brother from, you know, the murder mitten is doing something worthy rather than spending time behind them bars, you know what I'm saying? Shout out T Grizzly. Why is he on, you know what I'm saying, double XL, I don't know. But niggas like Ugly God and I don't know. I ain't finna talk about y'all, man. I already talked enough about people I care about. T, that's the you know what I'm saying, only person that was relevant in this, you dig? So, I mean, shout out to him. I'm finna add an original link to the you dig in the description below. Let's get it.